Hey everyone, so I hope that my voice is clear for all. Okay, so what today we're going to see, so we just going to see about the constructor function. We then move on to the prototypes, which means the prototype, how the prototype will works, and what is prototype will inheritance, and all those that we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss that, and you get an idea like yesterday we discussed about the classes, right? So you get an idea like how the classes are work and why we are using classes. So instead of using prototypes and prototype inheritance, why are we using classes? You get an idea regarding that. Okay, let me see that. Let me discuss. Just a minute. Okay, so just create a JS bin. Okay, so what is the problem actually? Why we need this function constructor and factory functions, and why we actually need these things means because we need to work with some of the optimized right way of writing code. So that is why it is everything needed, and it gives an very structured optimized way to write the code. Okay, so that is the only reason we are using this, and the procedure way of writing code is not that good, right? So what is meant by procedure way of writing code and the optimized way of writing code is a procedure way of writing code is we need to tell line by line what I'm going to do. For example, I'm creating a variable, and the second line I'm saying like this is a function. That function need to manipulate the variable, like that I'm saying. So like that we are telling the code line by line. It is not perfect one. So instead of what we can do, we can create an object and we can store all our data, and we can store all the functions that need actually we need to change and manipulate the data, and we are group it in a single place. Okay, so in a single place, and what we do, we will access it whenever we want. So this is a well structured, right? So I will give an example. For example, I just have an variable. I just create a variable, let for equal to, and here I just going to say the name of the car. It is going to be Audi. And the next what I just say, I create another variable, and here I just say brand. It's going to be the car brand. So I just say brand. For example, I'm just think like I'm creating an something. I creating an object, a car object, like that. Okay, so just consider that. Okay, so I have something called as Audi, and here I just going to store this car brand. Like car, it's going to be we can say myself, like this. Okay, so just a minute. Sorry, this one. Okay, myself, and here I just going to say Audi. And next what I just going to say, I just say let, and here what we can say, color of the car. So I just say color, we can say car color, and here we're going to create the car color to blue. The next what I'm going to do, I just going to write a function for this particular car. I just going to write a function, and here I just say car start. Okay, so we can give car start like this. Just think about this, and what it's going to return, it is going to return, I'm going to access the global variable. I just say car brand is, you can say, is starting, like this. Okay. So just think about this. This is for only one car. If I want to create another car, what should be like? If I want to create another car, here we need to change everything, right? Car2 dot brand, and car2 dot color, and we need to and function we don't do. Function also we need to create a different one, right? Because this is car brand for one, and we need to create car brand 2, right? For example, this is car brand 2, and this is brand 2, and here like this we can change, and Audi to Ferrari, blue to red. So this is the way of writing procedure code. So what I'm saying to the computer, right, says just create a variable car for myself, and car brand for Audi, and car for blue, and it is going to what? This is going to do a function. So when someone calls this, the call brand is starting should be run. For example, here I just say what I'm going to say, car start. Okay, car start. I just running the function, and if I run this function, car brand. Okay, B or A and D2, let, okay, I just make this two caps here and I run it function. You can see error access char van to before initialization. Uh, it is throwing an error. This is removed. We will run the code first. Okay, so we will get car brand is not even okay. I made most of the typo here. Okay, so that is why. Okay, so here I just going to say console.log, run the function in the quadrant. Okay, so if I run it, we will get Audi is starting. The exact same thing we will do after here. So we can say car start to like this. Okay, so if I run it, you can see Audi is starting, Ferrari is starting. So this is a procedure way of writing code. This is not a good code, right? You can see I'm saying a create a variable for car1 and that name is and everything, and that this is for that function, and you need to console log it and create another one. This is not a good way. This is not a good way, and this is causes many errors, and this is not very well to work with, right? Because everything is in a global variable, like it affects so much of things, so much of factor. Why I'm saying this is not a good way. So number one factor, we can say, look at this, it is easily reassignable, changeable, right? So I have a data, but it is not organized one. It is reassignable, it is changeable, right? So in that case, just let us think about that. I have only one two car. If what if I have around hundreds of car, if whether we can able to remember all the thing? No, it is reassignable and changeable, and the causes of error is going to be huge. One. And number two is memory. So when it comes to memory, JavaScript has a concept called garbage cleaning, which means that it automatically cleans the memory space. So once the functions get executed, the variable declared in the function, it gets cleaned, and once the variable is used, it is not going to use again, it is get clean. But those some of the memories, though it is an automatic process, some of the memories are not clean. They will be still there whenever the entire script is going to be read. So what are those memories? A global variable, a global function, they are going to be those memories. So what happened here, just think about it, is a global memory. Even though I'm going to use only this variable for this line only, this memory is still there in my browser, this memory is still there in the execution space. So what it will do, it will slows down the file processing. So this is not a great way to do it. So then only we came up with something called as object, right? So what we have object. So what object is made up of? So let us look into it. So instead of this, how we can create an object and how it is going to be optimized one. For example, we can create an object const and name this as to car, and here I just say we have so much of things, right? So we can view this as car1. This is going to be car1, and here we have the property, and I just what I can do, I just cut this and I can paste it here like this. So several syntax that we need to change. So instead of copy pasting it, we can paste it. We don't want the let inside this. We remove the let keyword. So which means it is not going to be a global variable. We are creating only one global variable, and it is going to occupy only one area. It is not going to occupy more areas. Okay. So and after that, instead of giving equal to, we are giving the semicolon to optimize this to an object oriented language. Okay. And we give the comma, and we give the comma of it. Okay, like this we will give it. And for the function start, we will remove this function start to we will remove the function start to it. Okay, so and function start to it, just a minute. Sorry. Okay, so we can go for further. So what I'm going to do, we have the car. Okay, let us see. This is an optimized one, right? So we have an car object, and inside that we have a property, and that we have a named index that has the index of car1, and it has all the elements. And I have this car. So this is an syntactic word that we have been used. It is a pretty good one. Okay, we can use, and you can see this is the code that we have written. I think we have written more than, yeah, we don't want this. Okay, so this is actually we need to write an optimized code, right? This actually we need. So then just a minute. Yeah. So this is a method for this function. This is a method for this function, and we have for car1. So the same exact thing. If I want for the car2, what I can do, I can simply create car2. Okay, I just simply create car2. We just give a comma, and what we'll do, we can change. We don't want to change the car brand name, color. We don't want to change it because it is going to work exactly the same, right? So now what can do, if I want to run the to statement, how can I do that? I can say console.log. Here we can say car1 dot, if I say car start. Okay, so we will change the methods Audi to Ferrari, and here what we will do, we will change the blue to red. Okay, so we will say, what we can say car, inside the car we need the car one, and you need to start the car. Okay, if I run it, you can see our brand is not defined. Okay, it will cause some whenever we copy the error. So what it is saying, car brand is not defined. Where is the car brand is not defined in the ES6? Okay, we need to tell. I just use the this dot car brand to use this, and if I run this, it will work. Yeah, so I simply we copy and paste it, right? So that is the error. So what is this? If I use the this keyword, then this going to refer the particular object it belongs to. So right now the object it belongs to is car1 and car2. If I say this dot car1, this is going to be Audi because I'm starting the car1. If I'm going to start the car2, then it's going to be Ferrari because I'm starting the car2 Ferrari. So this is good. This is good. This is sorry. So this is good. This is the way of writing code, right? So that's how the object has been written. That is why the object has been given. So we can able to put the data of an information, and also we can put the water. We can put the behavior, like what it should perform when the data is changed. We can, in the same place, we can able to do this. That is why this object oriented programming languages came. And one more thing is, here you can notice that we are not making so complex. We are changing only the property car1, car2. We are not changing every brand because this is going to be same only. We are not going to change that. So that is very simple. And another thing here to notice is that memory space. I speak about the memory space. I see like some of the objects once created is in a global variable. Once it is created, is not going to be clean up by the JavaScript, right? So here what I did, I created only one variable, and all the information is going to store in that variable only. Okay, so in a reference type. So we don't want to worry about that, right? So that is great. That is will be good. Okay, and here is also there is a problem. What is the problem is, just think about that. If I want to create, so we know the initial problem, right? What is the initial problem? So writing a procedural way of coding, so there is a problem. It is not well written, right? So it is line by line of indicating computer do that, do this. It is not well good, right? So that is why we have the objects and we are group it down. And right now it is well structured. We attain the concept called structure. It is fine, but this is also having some repetitions. Here you can see this is also having some repetition. This function, it exactly the same. This one, right? It is having some repetition. This is the function I'm using here only. So it is also having repetition, and also you can see this is different. I accept that this is different, even though the key value pairs are that this is different. But what is the problem with here is, the problem with here, the functions are getting repeated, which means even though the function is going to be same, it is going to created how many times we want to create an object, it is going to be created. That is not good. And another thing is, you can notice that I'm copy and pasting every time a new object is created, right? So this is also not good, right? So just think about, if I have 1,000 of object, I want to with the same blueprint it is going to have, and I'm repeating it again and again, right? So instead of it, what we can do, we can create a blueprint, and by using that blueprint we can create an object. So that is way and good, right? So here comes the next step. So the problem here is, it has some repetition, and we don't want to run a function again and again, right? So that is the repetition. And before that, we saw something that is way worst. This is little bit good, and we're going to see the update version. So what is that we have is called function constructor function. And how it is work means, okay, so just a minute. So how this is work means, like we will create a blueprint for the function constructor, and the function constructor is take care of how it is created, everything will be do that. So on the back of it, if I creating any variables, data, everything, everyone using this function constructor only. Okay, we will see this how to create an function constructor for object. Okay, so I just going to create function. If you want to create a function constructor, you need to name that function as caps, okay, to telling the fellow developers that I'm using a function constructor. Okay, and here you need to tell like this, and here of course it's just going to take some parameters. What are the parameters we have? We have the brand, and what is next? We have the brand, like only the data, whatever the data is going to do. Brand we have, and then we have color. Okay, so here you can say this dot, if someone comes with this brand, and that is equal to brand, that is I am switched. Okay, so the next if someone comes with this dot color, and this is going to be the color of the persons that I am switched. Okay, so here it is like a blueprint. What we can do means, we can able to create n number of object with this blueprint. Okay, so that is the problem that we face when we work with the object. We need to, if I want to create a new object, I need to copy and paste it. I need to create it every time the keywords and the function is get repeated, but here it is not going to be. So how we can create an object means, for example, I just say const car1 equal to, here we can say new, we going to use the person. So what is this new means? This is have access. So I will tell that what this new keyword will do. So right now I am accessing this. So right now what we can do, we can give two parameters. So what are the parameters I have is, the brand is going to be the Audi, and the color is going to be the blue. These are all the parameters I am having. So if I say console.log, I just say car1. Now you can see an object is created. You can see an object is created exactly how we create before. An object is created. If I want to create another object, I just want to tell the name, like instead of Audi, I just want to tell the name of it. We need to change the value of it, right? It's going to be Ferrari, and here I just going to say red. Right, and if I run it, you can notice that car1 is not okay. It is two time declared car2. So here I just say car1 comma car2. I just want to log both of them, and if I run it, here you can see an Audi object is created and Ferrari object is created. We are not repeating it, right? So in the before time, what we did, we repeated it, right? So every time we need to tell the brand car, and we need to tell that. But here we are not repeating it. For example, if I want to add a function, how can I add a function? We can say this dot, in this dot here, we can directly add a function. So how we can add means, just a minute. Okay, yeah, this dot start is going to be the method I am having. If this dot start is called, and you need to call a function. Okay, so what the function is going to do, the function is going to return this dot b or a brand this dot making spelling mistake, return, right, this dot brand is starting, right? So we have created a function. So if I call, instead of car1 car2, if I call car1 dot start, this is going to be a method. So I just going to call with the parenthesis, and here I just say car2 dot start. I just going to call with the parenthesis. I clear and I remove it. Audi is starting, Ferrari is starting. This is exactly same result we will get it, but you can see how well it is structured. So this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint, and I'm creating object by using this blueprint, and we can able to do it. Okay, so this is called as right now you can see the like how the code is getting well and structured and optimizing. The first stage, it is not optimized way, we are writing whatever come to like a flow, we are writing in a procedural way, that is we don't want that. Then we come up with an object. So the object, it's just to group everything, and it has the data and function itself, and it will group it up, it is look structured and it is well and good. And but also there are also some repetition is there, I need to copy and paste it every time, because the properties and methods are going to be same, I need to copy and paste it, that is not I want. So then what I did, so that is what is the problem we face, copy pasting, repeating. And if I want to create more than an object, then I need to every time copy and paste it, I need to change it every time, right? So then I come up with a solution that is called as functional constructor function. What the function constructor is doing, instead of creating every time, I have a blueprint. Okay, by using this blueprint, I creating a one liner. You can see I just create a one liner, and this is working in the back, and it creating an object for me, right? Exactly the same. So how it is working? For example, function person, it is indicating we are using the constructor function, and this is the brand, and this is going to be the color. It's going to be a parameter, and this is the argument that we are giving. So instead, if I want to use the constructor function, I need to give the new keyword. So why this new keyword, and what is doing here? The new keyword makes the scope of this, change the scope to the person it declared. For example, if I use the new keyword, this keyword refers to the person is declared, like car1. Okay, so if I using this is refers to car2. So this new keyword is making that this scopes to referring to this newly created object. Okay, so that is what you're doing. That is why instead of this, if I replace with car1 dot brand, it is going to be brand whatever thing od. So but we need dynamic, right? So we need car1, car2, and it comes car3, car4, likewise we get the dynamic things. So that is why we are using this. Then it's going to be dynamically it will be executed. Okay, so here the problem is solved, right? So what are the problems rectified? We are not repeating the properties, right? We are not repeating the properties, and we are not repeating the function also. But what is the problem with here? So it's still not stopped here. That is a problem. What is the problem with here is, just think about that. Every time, how it is working means, every time a new object is created, this constructor function is get executed. Okay, what is that? Every time a new object is created, this function constructor is get executed, because I'm calling that time only. Okay, so in that time you can see objects, this property only changing. You can see Audi blue, Ferrari red. This property is only changing. We are not changing the function. Function is going to be as it is, right? Function is same for car1, car2, whatever it may be, it is going to do the same action. But what is going to happen, every time I just create an object, it's going to run this, and it's going to create an object, and every object has this separate functions. Understand? So every time the object is created, which means we have a problem with the memory. So what is the memory? So every time, so this is going to execute, this is going to build for every object. So that is going to occupy more memory. So compared to before, it is going to occupy less memory only. But that is not a way, right? Because we are updating only this two, we are updating only this property. So we are not updating this, we are not updating the function is going to be same for all the property. But even though it is going to be same, it is going to come again and again, right? So how we can get, if I just go start, and here I just go and start, if I clear and run it, you can see the brand is different because the value is RD, and the color is different because the value is blue. Here the brand is different because the value is Ferrari. So these two are different, so we need to create it. But you can see that the start function is same exactly. Here the start function is also same, right? It is repeating. So both are same only, they are doing same action, but it is get repeated, right? So how I can stop this? So that is a problem. Here we find a problem that the function is get repeated. The function is get again and again repeated. I need to stop that. I need to stop the function to execute. So what I can do? So that is the problem. And another thing is, if I want to add a new property to it, how can I do this? If I want to add a new property to it, how I can do this? So how I can do this? For example, if I say person, if normal case, if I want to add an object to it, what we will do? We will call that object and we will give a dot, and here we will give what we can say age. Age equal to, here we will give 32. Like this we will give, right? Likewise we will give. But this is not going to work in the constructor function. If I do it, you can see this is not get executed. You can see it is not added. So then what I need to do, you need to add directly when it is, when the constructor is built. Okay, when you need to add directly to the, when the constructor, you can give the default value also, no problem in that. So you need to give directly when the constructor is built. So that is how you need to, you are able to add it. So this is not good, because I need to update sometime. If I want to update, I'm not want to update the source code, because maybe if I'm updating that, that is going to create a problem. I don't know. That is going to be well and optimized. I don't know, because I'm adding that. How I can add without touching the source code? How can I do this? So here, this is the two problems we are having. So one thing is, if I want to add a new object to it, if I want to add a new property to it, I need to add directly to the functional. I don't want that. I just want to add directly to it. I don't want that. One thing. Second thing is the repetition of the function that I'm having. You can see every time the function is repeating. So the only thing is, I want to avoid that repeating. How can I do it? Okay. So how we can do it? So for that, what we can do, first we will see how to remove this function. Okay. So right, if I run it, you can see right now we have object only. But right now we need a function that is going to be start, and that will be say Audi is starting, Ferrari is starting. How can we do? Means we can use something called as prototypes. Okay. Prototypes comes handy when we are working with. For example, if I here what I can do, here I say this dot start, instead of this dot start, here I just say this dot, just a minute, we can say this dot prototype dot start, and we can execute it. Just a minute. Yeah. So instead of doing this, if I want to, if I don't, here I don't want to, I don't want the repeated function, but I need the functionality. For example, if I execute start, I execute this, you can see it is going to throw me an error, because the start function is not defined, because we removed from the constructor function, right? So how can I add it without repeating of that particular function? How can I do this? You can add that function to the prototype. How we can do it? First, you need to call the person, and you can say prototype. Okay. So dot, here you can tell what the function you need to add. I need to add the start function, and here you can mention what is that you need to add. I need to add the function, and that function is going to return that function is going to return this dot what the person is going to return, this dot brand. We have this dot brand plus, and I just going to say starting. Okay. So after doing this, you can see, if I console log it, you can see nothing is added, but you can see right now the function is added. But right now you can see like this, but where it is added means it is added in the prototype of it, which means it is only once it is created, it is not created twice. Okay. So if I run this, you can see the function color is only there, and inside the prototype only we have the start function. Okay, inside the prototype only we have the start function. So what's going to happen means, this is going to created every time a new object is created, but this function is going to execute only one times. It is going to execute only once times. When this constructor function is executed, it is going to only execute one time. So now if I added to this to a prototype, then it's going to execute only one time. So we are avoided the repetition. So right now we don't, we every time the function runs, it is not get executed, the function is not created every time, so it is going to save us a space. So if I run this, it will be going to work. Start. Okay, if I run it, you can see already starting. If I run this for car2, it is going to work for the car2. So where you can find this, where you can find the find that means you can see in the person there is two things, it is newly created, and in the prototype of the function the start function is get added, which means it is added in the prototype itself. Prototype, I will explain what is that. It is added in the prototype itself. So it is not created every time, it is not created every time the function is, every time a new object is created. So it is going to save the space. And also by using this, what we can do, we can able to add a property to it. We can able to add the property to it. What, how can I say, person dot age is equal to 32. So now what it is going to do, it is going to add in the prototype of this function. So prototype of this constructor function, and it is going to add it. Okay, so that is and we can able to access it. Okay, so how it is working means, first of all, if I ask for start, it is not in the, it is not in this function. You can see it is not in the function. So first what happens means, the constructor function look for it whether something method in the name of start is there or not. Likewise, it will look for it. If it is not there, then what will happen, it will go upwards the prototype chain, and it will look for its parent to check whether start is there or not. So that is what happening here. I am calling console.log start. So what has happened means, it is check whether any method with the start is available or not. Right now there is no method is available here. So then what happened, it is go upwards the prototype chain, and it will, now we get the start method, and in the start method we have the, we created a function what to do. So that will be created, and you can see this constructor function. So this constructor function is nothing but that is the function, that is the thing that we used to create this object. We use it to create that object. Okay, so how it is execute means, I already said that JavaScript, everything is going to be an object, right? So on top of it there is an object is there, that is going to be the topmost object, and in that object we have two things. One is going to be a function, and another one is going to be array. Okay, so a function, nothing but a constructor function, whatever we are doing, that is function. Okay, so you are creating a function. On top of it, you can see the prototype of it, you can see the prototype of it, and you can check it. For example, here you can see this is the person, it is a constructor, and you can see this, it has a prototype of object, and that object is the special object that we have. Okay, and that if I go upwards this object, you can see all the properties, and on top of that object there is nothing is there. So we will look for that, means it is going to tell the null, it is going to null. So this is the topmost object, and this topmost object has a method called constructor, has one property, it's a prototype of, and like that so much of method is there. And this property, this prototype, by using this prototype only, we are creating another prototype, and that prototype, it's called as person brand person, like we have created. By using that prototype we created another property, and by using that prototype only, this object automatically creates an object, right? So these are get created. Okay, so this is how everything executed. When we are creating a string, what happens, so there is a topmost an object is there, that object has a prototype, and that prototype create a constructor function, and that constructor function creating a string and convert it to a toString. Okay, so and we getting as a derived string. That is what happening in the back. So this is what happening when we are working with the prototype, and prototype of we sorry, we just check it out. Okay, so the prototype is nothing but it is exactly what its parent, like by using that only we are creating it. If I'm creating an object, I need a prototype. What is the prototype? So this is actually the blueprint. I'm using this is the prototype I'm using to create an object. And how this is created, you can see. So this has some function, that function here I declared. How this is created, prototype, it is in the top of it. On top of it nothing is there, null. Okay, so only one top object, and in that we have two things. One is going to be a function, and another one is going to be an object, and that object creates objects, and this function creates special type of constructor functions and all, it will create it. Okay, so if you go for the inspect element and you can check it, you can see what all are the consoles, that are the properties that are available. If I click this is going to be created one. This is the derived one, created one. How it is created? This is created by this person, brand, color, right? So we used this prototype, right? So we constructed it. So you can see something called as prototype is that. If I click this, you can see the constructor function with the person, brand, color. So this function is creating this one. Okay, so how this function is created? This function is created by default in the JavaScript. You can go for here, you can see constructor function is created, and by using the constructor function only, we are creating that to an object, and by using this constructor function only, a normal object is get created, right? So this is, if you are hearing this for first time, it is going to be stunning for you. So but it's fine, it is fine. Okay, so this is how the functional constructor and the prototype is working. Okay, so instead of touching prototype, if you are creating a prototype, you are using this prototype, that is fine. But there is an already a prototype is there, and you are using the prototype, then that is going to be dangerous. Okay, so don't use the prototype for already derived methods. For example, we have const date equal to, we have something called as new date. What this will do, it will return the current date of it, right? Console.log, what we can do, we can say that date, console.log date. If I run it, we will get an object. I just go here and it is not working here. Go for the console, we will get the current date of it, right? So what we have, so in this date, you can see we have access to some of the methods, right? So I just say dot to, like, not to, what is the we have that we have so many methods, right? So to check the month and the date of it, let me check this. We will copy this one, adding this. If I add this, we will getting here, fine. Dot, what is the method? I forgot about date method. What is the method we have? Get date method, get minutes, that's why get year, right? So we have get year, we have get full year, right? I think date method for year, we use the get year. Yeah, that is get year. If I use that, what going to happen? It is going to return the current year. Yeah, full year. Yeah, get full year. Clear. If I run it, what it is going to do, it is going to return the current year of it, right? So instead of writing this, you can access this by prototype also. How we can access means, we can say console.log. Here we can say we have the date, and you can see this is in caps, which means it is a constructor function. Date dot, here we can say prototype dot get full year. If I do this here and I run it, date object is not defined. Yeah, fine. New date. Clear. Run it. Okay, fine with that. Okay, let me create a custom date of custom prototype for our date. For example, we know that we have a date dot get dot full date is there. So what I'm going to do, by using this, we just going to add prototype. Okay, if I add the prototype, it is not going to work, because it is going to check in the prototype of it, we will get the error. So what is happening means, right now we don't have, right now we have a method, right now we have the method in the constructor get full date itself. Okay, what if I want to add a prototype of it? What if I just want to add the prototype? I want to add the prototype of it, how I can do it. Okay, so here simply I can say here we will create a method. Okay, so we will create a method. I just say date dot prototype. We will simply say we will create a new prototype for our date object. So what I just going to say, date dot prototype, and it is going to be the last year. This is going to be the method that I need to create. And here I just saying like you need to add return. If someone gives the return, and what you need to do, new date dot I don't know, like instead of this we can say if I want to create a new prototype of it, first we console.log the date object, and yeah, it is not producing. If we say prototype, it's lost going to be there, and we can say date dot to get full year -1. Okay, so here we can say date. Okay, so I think this is not working here. We will cut here, and if I go here and if I add it, unexpected identifier. Okay, so first I just want to check the date constructor. Okay, so it is not showing the grade constructor. So what we will do, we will create the date. I ask for date, it is showing some of the constructor. So I want to go topwards the grade. I just using under dot underscore proto and going top of it, and instead I just say dot underscore proto underscore again underscore. Just want the object, I don't want the constructor function. You get the constructor function. Here you can see this is the constructor function that is creating this that is the object that is creating this date. Okay, so in this date, if we go, we remove this, we get this. What is this dot proto slash will do means, it will go upwards the prototype chain. It will go upwards the prototype chain and it will look into it. Okay, so right now we are not able to access the what are the methods that are available. Okay, I think it is new date only we are using. Right, we create const date. Clear this, we create const date is equal to new date. This is going to be a method, and I just say const date dot underscore what is the prototype of it. We will get the date of it, and you can see that this is the prototype. For example, the new date is a constructor function that creates the current date and it will store inside the data. So if I say underscore proto, then what's happened, it will goes towards the prototype, and in prototype we have access to all the method. You can see we have access to all the method, and you can see that we don't have that last year. To identify the last year method we don't have, but this is defaultly available in JavaScript, right? So get date, get full year, get hours, get minutes, get month, like that it is defaultly available. If I want to create a custom method like this, we can able to create it. Okay, but that is not a recommended way to do it. For example, I say date dot prototype, date dot prototype. Here I just say what we can say last year. So what this prototype will do, it will add to this prototype, which means it will add to the prototype of this one new date. So it is customly built. So but I'm adding this to that. What happens mean, if I creating a function and I'm telling that return, creating a function and I'm just telling that return date dot get full year minus 1. So this is going to be the last year, right? So if I add this to the prototype, here we can say, okay, so I just typed in a spelling mistake. Just copy this, and here I just going to add this one, return. Okay, so don't where is, yeah, again spelling. So working with, but this is not a recommended way. So we want to only change the prototype that we created. This is prototype that is already created. Here see, cannot set a property for undefined, setting for last year. So what to say, cannot. So after that, what we can say, date dot underscore proto. We will go here, and what would happen means, now we can able to after setting this, we can able to do this. So if I say the prototype dot last year, and if I execute a function to return, and that should be get returned, then what it's going to do, it is going to set the prototype of it. We can able to do it, and I will do something else. Okay, so but the only thing is, we are not supposed to change the already returned prototype, like data functions method. We are not supposed to change that. We need to change only the custom prototype that we have written. Okay, so that is the only manual instruction that right now we have. So we don't access it, because it causes some of the problems. Okay, it full year. Okay, so the next thing is about closes. So what is going to be closes? I will tell you how to create a thing, how to create your custom data. Like, we tell dot get full year, we will getting the full year, right? So likewise, how we can create our own custom method, we can able to create it. But for that, we need to understand some of the concepts deeply. So let us see, first of all, closes. What is that? Closes is nothing but it is a paradigm. So if you understand closes, all the function concept will be get clear. So what does that means? I have a function. And then function is going to be, I'm going to name this as A. Okay. So here what I'm going to do, I just going to create a variable const name equal to hello. And inside this, I'm just creating another function, and that is going to be B. Here I just say return. This function is going to return, what I'm going to say, name, right? And here I just say executes A, right? Executes B. So what this is actually closer, and you will understand it now, but there is so complexity behind this. For example, if I say const call equal to A, function A. Okay, so I just say A like this. And I just say console dot log. If we run it, we will get call is not defined. Okay, call, okay, clear, run it, we will get undefined. Let me see what has happened. Okay, we need to execute the function first of all. Okay. Okay, so let me see what, first of all, what is closer means. A closer is nothing but a function. Inside we have a function. If the function is executed or not even going to execute it, so the child function always have access to the parents functions. Okay, so the child function always have access to the variables that is created in the parents element. So that is what we will see. Like, instead of C A call clear It throws an error, I know. Okay, we will write perfectly and then we will execute it. Fine. So what it's showing means it is undefined here. Reload. Undefined. Fine. There is something problem here. Okay, so what we have created a function, and inside the function we say like we need to execute this function. So instead we do this. We will call in the console.log. What we going to do, we just going to call the a function, and here it is going to return me undefined. Okay, 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 fine. Function b is there, and we need to return. Okay, so this is JS bin. Right now only I understood. So this is JS bin, right? Okay, so I'm looking for that. Okay, if I run a function here, fine with that. If I say console.log a, and this function is get executed and defined here. If I say a, okay, okay, fine with that. Okay, so we will work with this console because that is thing. So here we will create a function, and we'll create a function a, and what I'm going to do, I just going to, what happened, let's create a function, a, and we okay, it will give some recommendation. I just say remove this, remove this. I found it. Okay, so we don't use the return keyword here. So here I just say return b. Okay, so if we log it here, we get the hello. So instead of this one, I just copy this, clear, paste it here, the function a. Okay, so we get this, and here instead of writing hello, what we do, we will write name. Okay, so let's check what it is going to do. So here I missed to write the return. Okay, so if I write it, we have access to the hello. So this is actually closer. So what is this? Just think about that. uh, JavaScript something works in the way of JIT compiling. So what is meant by that? So if it is once the code is get run, once the function is get executed, or once the code is get run, it will compile the code. For example, what I say, I just want to run this function a, and here what it is going to do, it is going to create a variable name is equal to hello, and what it say, return b. Once it gets returned, once it reaches the statement return, everything is going to be deleted. This name is going to deleted, and this one is going to deleted, this function is get deleted. What is the value, what is it is going to do, it is going to execute another function that is inside it. Okay, but just think about that. This reaches here b, what is going to happen, this function is going to execute, and inside this function have the name, but this name is this is get deleted because it reaches the return statement. Once it reaches the return statement, then only this function is going to execute, right? So which means the variable that is created inside the a function, it is going to be deleted, right? So but also it have access to it. If I say a, then what is going to do, it is going to return the name of it. So which means it is going to returning it, which means this child function have access to the parent variable. So this is called as closure. Even if you don't have, even the function is not going to execute again, even the function is not it's completely executed, what that is completely fine. What it is going to do, it is going to remember the variables that the parents has. The same thing if I do it for let us consider the same thing. If I do it for like, instead of here name is there, so here I say return, instead of b, what I going to do, I just going to create name, and now this name function you will get it, right? So return the name means we will get it because this function is creating and we will get it. I will put this created one inside this one. Okay, now if I run it, you can see it is saying JS bin out, which means it is not able to just undefined. So it is not able to find, even though this function is inside the a function, we are not able to get this value. The reason is parent element does not have access to the child functions variable. The parent, this is the parent element, this is the child element, it does not have access to this variable, right? This does not have access to this variable and it will not work. Okay, so if I put the same thing, and here instead of a I call the b1, then what's happened here, you can see this is the parent variable. Here inside child there is no variable is there, but here it is work. The reason is child element always have access to the what, child function always have access to the parent variable. Even though it is deleted, even though it is not working, it always have access to it. Okay, so that is what closure it is. Okay, so how handy is this? So how it is going to be helpful? So it is going to be helpful in more cases when we work with the real world scenarios. It is going to be really helpful. How we can do it means, like we are creating a variable const. Okay, so here what we can do, we can store it in another variable. We can say this is poly. Here we can say a. So now what I can say, I can use call I say console.log poly, then this hello is going to be executed. Like call is not a function. Oh, sorry. You can see the hello is going to be executed. So what we did means, like, we will just store this function inside the function. So what it's going to do, what this is going to do, it is going to execute the function. So here you can understand the concept. What happens means, if I say call a, then what is going to happen, we just see for what is the return keyword. So the return keyword is b function. So it is what it is going to, how it is get compiled means, it just copy, once the code is get run, it just going to store like this. Just think about that. It is going to store like this. It don't have access to the name variable, right? So this is the functionality that behind closures. So when we are using a function inside a function, the child element, even though it is the JavaScript is in compilation, that it is doing compiling language, it is doing the compilation, we have access to this parent variable. So how we get this access? Because this is not completely deleted. There's a separate box is created, and in that box, until the entire function is get run, there is separate box is created, that is the closure box, and in this box this variable is get stored. Okay, so once we are calling it, it is look for this universe. So inside this universe, is that anything is associated with the name is there, likewise it will look into it. If it is not there, then what it will do, it will go for the parent element and it will seek for is anything is there. If the variable it's not there, but inside the closure box we have access to this element. Okay, so once we get accessed, then it will be showed here. But by default JavaScript is running this only, but we have access to this element. The reason is closure. Okay, so it will be a bit confused when we are working with, but when you understand the concepts of compose, something currying like that, you will understand those method concept, you will come to know it. Okay, so that's all for today. It's about prototypes and closures, and we will see like maybe tomorrow I will tell you how to create a custom prototype for yourself and how to manipulate the prototype and all. To I will work it out and will tell to you. Okay, so then the second thing is about tomorrow we're going to discuss about the asynchronous of JavaScript, and also we see about what is currying if time and hoisting. What is meant by hoisting? We will discuss it about. Okay. So any doubt you have, you can. I think the attendance form has been sent. You can fill it the attendance form if you get the certificate. And if any doubt you have, you can send the message in the WhatsApp. You will be access to it. Okay. So that's all for today. See you tomorrow, and make sure that you are giving a like and subscribe if you really feel that content is okay. So bye.